Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you see. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dream. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you see. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dream. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
What's up, everybody? Y'all, Sheree, we've been rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. I'm here for another video. Y'all, this one, we're going to go a little bit deep. So for starters, I want to say Sheree has been on RHOA for on and off for the 14 seasons that it has aired. And for the most part, we have definitely rooted for Sheree. Recently, a really big YouTuber, Funky Dineva, somebody I've been watching since almost the beginning of RHOA, said that, or he likened the fact that Sheree was unable to finish junior high because she got pregnant and she didn't go back to school, to some of the reasons why maybe her business has not been able to flourish. I want to first start off by saying how you start is not necessarily how you finish. I say that all the time. And in present day, a formal education is not necessary for success. With that being said, typically for people who don't have a formal education and are as successful, as Sheree, or can be successes in life, typically they have a natural business acumen and they are extremely driven people. The issue is we don't necessarily see that with Sheree. So my question for you guys is where you stand. Do you think that in Sheree's instance, not having a formal education has stifled her potential businesses, or is it just Sheree? Because in my opinion, from what I've seen of Sheree on this show and just hearing her in interviews and seeing what matters to her, it's always been about the material. It's always been about her possessions. And that's troubling because when you're on a show like RHOA, you have like a billboard on your chest. The whole show could be an advertisement for whatever business you are trying to pursue or project that you have. But for Sheree, it seems like her focus has been elsewhere. So what I did was I have a really crazy memory, guys. I started thinking about Sheree's RHOA career, and the conclusion that I came to was that everything has been about material possessions. And after I heard that she allegedly did not finish middle school, or junior high, as some say, my heart went out to her. Because you never actually know what the next person is going through. You see Sheree and she's so glamorous and she has the mega mansion and all those things, but you never really know what got her to this point in life. With that being said, though, she's been offered so many more opportunities than the regular person has through her marriage, through the show. And we're just going to go through a timeline. And at the end, you guys can tell me what you think the issue might be. It started season 1 with Sheree, and I remember she had this mansion. At the time, guys, I didn't come from money. So when I saw these Black people on this show living behind the gates, having these fancy parties, driving these really nice cars, you could only assume that she was doing it. I believe she had Evander Holyfield's daughter as her assistant season 1. And she had already started talking about this fashion line, and we saw her going to the stores and buying $4,000 or $5,000 purses and things like that, things that I couldn't even imagine. But the crack started really early. In her reality, Sheree was supposed to vacate that house, and that house was going to be part of her divorce settlement. She told us she was going to be getting 7 figures from her ex-husband. Well, Sheree did not. Problem 1, she refused to vacate the house. assumingly because she wanted to stay on the show and because, that house made her one of the Joneses. But she was supposed to vacate it. I can't say that as much. And because she did not vacate it, there was a ripple effect in her life. She did not, nor did Bob get any of the proceeds from the sale of that home. She then hired a lady who was supposed to extend her stay in the home, even though she wasn't supposed to be in the house, and then alleged that that lady stole all the furniture and fixtures. However, the police got involved, y'all. This is real. Let me put my banner up to say allegedly, but I'm getting this. I've sourced all of this information. Um, this was in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. She alleged that the woman stole her fixtures. The police got involved and didn't charge the lady. So to me, I don't know if Sheree took the fixtures. I don't know if the woman stole them, but the story is really confusing and convoluted. And it was the first crack, but she should have. And we'll get into why this sale was important. Then we had her famous Who Gonna Check Me Boo. She wanted a divorce party, but she wanted to be flown in a helicopter and she wanted all this for free. So again, it's an outward show. She then moves into an expensive rental house in a nice part of Atlanta. Again, wasteful with money. She has a fashion show, which really turns out to be just pictures on on the wall and $100,000 party with no fashions. The fashion show with no fashion was the first time that a cast member really read charade, and we started seeing what is this? What are you giving us? Eventually, she has to move out of that house, but into an apartment. But she gets an Aston Martin. At that apartment, though, we see that her kids are on air mattresses, and that is a read that continued to this day. She dates this fake doctor named Dr. Love, and everybody's like, how do you, what again, it's like mishap after mishap. Her kids are on the air mattress, but we're seeing Sheree in a Hermes with Hermes Birkin bags. Now, in all honesty, I did not know what a Hermes Birkin bag was back in the late 2000s. I didn't even know that people carry 10, 12, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, $80,000 purses. I did not know. But this was in that whole vein of these are the people doing it. These are the people behind the gates. You just never know what that person is actually struggling with. But Sheree, again, it speaks to the material. Everything is about the material. You have a $10,000 purse, but your kids are on air mattresses. It's not making any sense. She then goes ahead and she has a fashion show, but none of the buyers or vendors are interested in the line. So that really goes nowhere. At this point, this would have been her chance to pivot to something else in the business world that maybe would have been more viable for her. But instead, she decides she wants to build a chateau with the indoor skating rink. Phaedra and Candy go visit the chateau, but all they see is nothing. At the reunion, this was really not a great reunion for Sheree. In addition to talking about Nene's son Bryson and him stealing from Walmart, Phaedra says all she saw was dirt and grass. Then Nene takes the baton and asks when she gonna visit Styx and calls it Neverland. It was really embarrassing for Sheree, and she gets fired after that reunion. Then we move on to Sheree off the show, and she's still making news because Funky Dineva and Michelle Alien did this really funny skit in front of Chateau Sheree as it's being built, but the actual construction has halted. This was hilarious. So if you guys don't know a little history, I've been watching YouTube for years. I can remember when Sheree sued Funky Dineva and Michelle Alien over this video. The problem with her lawsuit was it was frivolous. It didn't seem like she had the money to do it. And on top of all of that, through that lawsuit, we learned that Chateau Sheree was actually in her daughter's name. And it was alleged that her daughter didn't even really know it was in her name because she said that her mom had signed the paperwork. This is all the allegations. I have sourced and rewatched all these videos. That really happened. Super embarrassing. You cannot sue somebody for embarrassment. They just made a video. It didn't break any laws. So, that didn't go anywhere. Iyanla then tried to fix her life, and she's asking why she needs this ginormous house. She's kind of echoing what I'm saying, that it's a lifestyle thing. And Sheree says it's for her children. This was extremely embarrassing for Sheree. We then get to Sheree being hired back to RHOA, and she triumphantly gets to finish the house. Everybody is rooting for her at this point. It is such a big deal that she was able to finish it. But even in her moment of triumph, people are saying that the house is in her mom's name. It becomes like the running joke. By the end of the season, and I'm thinking with Bravo infused money, she was able to finish Chateau Sheree, which she is still into the day, still into this day. I want to say this is very important. Sheree will never be broke. If that house is in her name and she eventually sells it, she will sell that for millions. So out of everything that is being said, this woman will not be broke. She could sell that and live a modest lifestyle for the rest of her life. So kudos to Sheree for that. Very, very proud of her for finishing Chateau Sheree and staying in it. But again, it's a lifestyle thing. It's definitely a lifestyle thing. We then see Sheree and she's dating Lyron, again, somebody who was convicted of defrauding people. I think it was like wire fraud. And people are thinking, why would this vivacious, beautiful woman, big, beautiful home, lifestyle be with him? The rumor started that he helped her finish the house. Horrible rumor, especially for somebody who did what she did and accomplished what she accomplished. She didn't get to stay on RHA for too long, just 2 more years. And it ended with a very embarrassing, probably one of her most famous lines. They asked her about Shiba Sheree. Again, Andy has consistently asked her, are you wearing Shiba Sheree? What is it? So she has had so many branding moments, and it falls to the wayside each time. We get the jogger, spring, summer. It was a huge meme and a very big embarrassment for Sheree. She gets to come back. No housewife in history has had 3 returns to a show. We are so excited for Sheree, and she lets us know that she's going to be actually putting out She by Sheree. So we're excited to see the process, but the process seems oddly familiar to her first couple seasons where she didn't have the fabrics, things weren't sourced, the designer didn't send it to her, and in the last 8 hours, she gets all of the clothes. So we're excited. She actually has joggers. The world makes a sigh of relief, but that only lasts one night because then people start to see once her website is up and a few people get some screenshots, we see that those clothes are actually clothes that you can buy from really inexpensive vendors like Shein. And Sheree has just put her name on it and marked it up like I don't know how many 100%, but it's a major markup. If you can get that for the same jogger for $20 and Sheree is offering it for 150, it's not making business sense, and people are trying to connect the dots. We'll get back to that in a second. So then she gets with Martell Holt, of all people. Like, of all people. The web Sheree. Her website crashes. Again, there are people who root for her, and there are some people who are relishing in the fact that this is not what it needs to be. What I will say personally is I feel like maybe Sheree needs a new team. Maybe Sheree just needs to be more of the face of something, and she has business partners who handle all the rest. Because again, the only thing that I have personally ever seen Sheree be really interested in is the material possessions, and that's just not it. I personally wanted to support her. I was going to do a giveaway of maybe a couple of her items because I really do support Black-owned businesses and minority-owned businesses in my real life and on my channel. But when I saw the price points, I just could not get behind it. I wish nothing but the best for Sheree. And to go back to how this video started, I don't know if a formal education could have assisted her in going further in her business endeavors. You guys can put in the comment section if you have an idea of what the disconnect might be with Sheree, but there is definitely a disconnect. I want to say personally that I think when you are so interested in material and lifestyle things that everything else can kind of get lost in the sauce. But you tell me again, I did this video because my subscribers said they wanted me to talk about it, do the follow up with Shiba Sheree, and then once they heard that she didn't have a formal education, people wanted to know. But I can't stress enough, you can be a success in life without a formal education. You don't even have to go in entertainment. There are so many avenues people can pursue. So, guys, I'll let you put in the comments and I'll be reading these comments. Like and subscribe. It definitely helps my channel. Follow me on Instagram at Make It Make Sense Now, and I will see you guys for the next one.